Let me start with something uncomfortable. Many serious aspirants prepare polity very sincerely. They read standard books multiple times. They memorize articles, amendments, judgments, and still in the exam hall they struggle. Why? They hesitate between two options. They feel polity is unpredictable. Now the question is why? Why? Because they studied polity as a subject. But UPSC asks polity as a system of power. UPSC is not asking polity. Then what? It is asking power, process, and conflict. Let me explain how UPSC asks polity. Earlier questions were direct, like what is Article 32 and what is fundamental rights, etc. etc. This is the recognition phase. Now, then it is changed. If article is violated, what happens? These type of questions are now asking by UPSC. This is the application phase. Earlier was recognition. Now we are in a different phase. Now UPSC asks like statement 1, then statement 2. Does one explain the other? This type of questions UPSC is asking frequently from 2023 onwards, like 2024 and 2025, etc. UPSC is not testing memory, it is testing constitutional logic. So, for that matter, we are going to discuss 5 to 6 types of systems. We divided polity for 2026. Probable themes are like systems. Those are 5 to 6 systems. Let me go through into very deeper of those systems. That is system number 1, representation power, delimitation. Now we move into the first system, that is system number 1, that is what? Representation power. This system decides who controls parliament, not constitution, not law, power only. So what is actually being tested? Let me ask you something. Why does parliament matter? Is it just for making laws? No, it is about who has more voice, who controls decisions, who shapes national policy. And all of this comes from one simple thinking and one simple thing, that is number of seats. Seats equal power. Now understand this carefully. India follow a basic democratic rule, that is one person, one vote. But population is not static. Some states grow faster, some states stabilize. Now imagine if constituencies remain unchanged, what will happen? Then votes become unequal. Some MPs represent more people, some represent fewer people. Democracy starts distorting. So what do is we redraw boundaries, we adjust constituencies, we balance representation. That process is called delimitation. That is why delimitation concept exists. Now focus here. UPSC will not ask you what is delimitation or not. Delimitation is. They will test your understanding of two words, that is equality and fairness. Most students think both are same, equality and fairness, but they are not. Equality means equal number of voters per constituency. Then fairness means what? Balanced representation between states. UPSC traps you in the examination by mixing these two. So you have to careful on equality and fairness and what are the differences between them. Then only you can easily solve the question. So now we enter the most important layer, that is 1971 freeze. What is this? India freezes delimitation. Why? Was it technical? No, absolutely no. Was it legal compulsion? No, it was political. Now think deeply. Southern states, for example, you have to take southern states, they are controlled population, focus focused on education, reduced fertility. Then northern states, higher population growth. Now imagine if delimitation was allowed, north would gain more seats, south would lose relative power because based on population delimitation is going to be. So population control becomes a punishment here. So what did the government do? It froze representation. It maintained balance. It avoided conflict. This was not a constitutional necessity. This was a political survival strategy. So now come to the UPSC core. Article 82 of the Indian Constitution. Parliament enacts delimitation after census. Article 170. Same logic for state assemblies. These are the both articles regarding constitutional framework of delimitation. Now the most important body, that is Delimitation Commission. This body is appointed by President of India and works as independent authority. That is the structure. Now listen carefully. Very important point. Its orders cannot be challenged in government in court. Its orders cannot be challenged in court. So UPSC loves these types of points. So now we come to the present. The freeze period ends by 2026. Now ask yourself, what happens next? State with States with high population growth gain seats. States with controlled population lost relative influence. This is not just delimitation, this is power redistribution. This is going to high probability theme for UPSC 2026 prelims as far as polity is concerned. And UPSC will never ask directly. They will test federal balance, political dominance, and representation logic through these concepts. Now connect systems. We have heard about Women Reservation Act. Many students think it's already active, but it's not really. Why? Because two conditions are required before it act. That is one, census, and second one, delimitation. Only after this seats will be reserved for women, 33%. Again, you have to remember, UPSC does not test topics, it tests interconnections. Now we have to observe UPSC behavior. Earlier they asked direct questions like what is delimitation, etc. But now they are asking frequently statement based traps. Let's say example, statement number 1, that is delimitation ensures equal representation. This is the statement number 1. Then statement number 2, that is a delimitation commission orders are final. Both statements are correct. These types of statements they are going to be asked in the examination. Now the dangerous one, statement delimitation happens after every census. This is the statement. For example, is this statement correct or not, or correct or wrong? This is absolutely wrong. Not every census, because it was frozen. UPSC does not test rules, it tests exceptions. Now exam hall thinking, whenever you see words like always, every, mandatory, you have to be alert. UPSC rarely uses absolute truths. Rarely. Elimination is not guesswork, it is pattern recognition. So now the final question is, consider the following. Delimitation ensures uniform representation. Delimitation ensures uniform representation. It is conducted after every census. Second point, this is. Third point, its orders, statement number 3, it orders are not subject to judicial review. Statement number 1 and statement number 3 are correct. This type of questions they are going to be asked. So we have to observe one thing very clearly, that is delimitation is not geography, it is not administration, it is not just a constitution, it is power engineering. And UPSC does not test facts, it tests who understands power. So this one system will going to give 2 to 3 questions guaranteed. So you have to very much focus and careful as far as this concept is concerned. This concept is concerned. What is the concept here is representation power and delimitation. And we are going to next system, that is system number 2, election. Election. System number 2, election and election control. System number 1 decides power, decided power. System 2 decides who gets that power. Let me ask you something. Who decides election? Is it voters? Partly correct. But who ensures free elections, fair elections, and neutral processes? Election Commission of India. That is Election Commission of India. Control elections and you control democracy. So now focus on Article 324. This is the backbone. This is the backbone for the elections. What does Article 324 say is superintendence, direction, control of elections is vested in Election Commission of India. That is Article 324 is saying. So now listen carefully. Constitution does not define appointment process clearly. Appointment process of what? Election Commission of India's appointment process does not define clearly. It says subject to law made by parliament. Subject to law made by parliament. The constitution gave parliament a blank check, and in 2023 parliament filled that check. Now come to the current shift. Earlier system is no clear law, executive dominated, but now after the law, committee includes selection committee, that is includes Prime Minister of India, Leader of Opposition, Cabinet Minister, no CJI, no Chief Justice of India. This is not appointment reform, this is institutional power shift. So UPSC may trap you asking like these statements. CJI is part of ECI appointment. Chief Justice of India is part of Election Commission of India appointment. Answer is wrong as per new law. So now think deeper. ECI must be independent, but appointment is political. UPSC is going to test this contradiction. UPSC always tests this contradiction. These are UPSC favorites. Interconnections and confusion. Now the most important trap area is removal. Removal structure. Removal structure of CEC, Chief Election Commissioner. This system is removing like as Supreme Court judge removal. That means parliament process, high threshold, etc. These types of conditions. As far as election commissioners is concerned, removed they removed only on recommendation of chief election commissioner. UPSC loves this type of asymmetry, this types of asymmetry. So we are going to take another trap question. Statement type. EC and CEC have same removal process. EC means election commission and chief election commissioner and chief election commissioner. The answer is wrong. Different process. Now understand power. ECI controls conduct of elections, model code of conduct, electoral rolls, recognition of parties. These are the powers. This is not administration. This is election governance. So now we move to the hottest topic, that is one nation, one election. What is one nation, one election? In the history, India has already had it from 1952 to 1967, simultaneous elections. What changed? Assemblies dissolved early, cycles got disturbed. So now the proposal again, but what is the issue? Key challenge is federal structure. States have independent terms. What is required to one nation, one election? Constitutional amendment. Ratification by states is important for the constitutional amendment. This is not administrative reform. This is constitutional restructuring. Let's we take one statement. One nation, one election can be implemented by a simple law. Answer is wrong. Constitutional amendment is needed because it affects the constitution, it affects states. Whenever federal structure is touched, constitution is involved. So UPSC will not ask like what is one nation, one election. They will ask like these types of conditions, feasibility, constitutional requirement, etc. Let's we take one statement type question. Statement type questions, that is statement number 1. ECI is a constitutional body. And statement number 2. Appointment process is defined in constitution. Statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 is wrong. This type of traps frequently used UPSC in their prelims examination. Elimination logic in the exam hall. Watch for clearly defined in constitution. Always uniform. UPSC hides truth in ambiguity. And next trap, that is consider the following statement. Statement number 1. Election Commission derives power from Article 324. Statement number 2. CJ is part of appointment committee. And statement number 3. EC can be removed without CEC recommendation. These are three statements. Statement number 1 is correct. CJI is not part of the committee, appointment committee, and EC can be removed with CEC recommendation only. So correct answer is 1 only. So this is not polity, this is not governance, this is not elections. This is control over democracy. because if you control elections, you control power. So this one system may get 2 to 3 questions guaranteed. This is the election system. This is the election control. We are going to move system number 3, that is executive versus legislature. This system is about this system is about power conflict inside the constitution. Let me ask you something. Who makes laws in a state? Legislature. The answer is legislature. Who gives final approval? Governor, state governor. Lawmaking is not complete until the executive agrees. This is the process. Now focus Article 200. This is the core. What can governor do when a bill is presented? He can approve, return, reserve for president consideration. These are the only options. UPSC loves fixed option framework. Article 200 is going to be high, very high PYQ zone. You have to focus. Now understand each one. Then one approval. He may give approval. Then bill becomes law. He return. He may return. Sent back to legislature for reconsideration. Then he reserve. Sent to president for final decision. These types of the three process are given by Article 200. So he may do three options, three different power routes. Now listen carefully. If governor returns a bill and the legislature passes it again, with or without changes, governor must give assent to the bill, particular bill. There is no doubt. He must act. Governor must give assent. Simple. This is where a legislature wins. Now comes to the real UPSC layer. Supreme Court has said governor cannot delay indefinitely, indefinite period. So no pocket veto for governor, must act within reasonable time. This is said by Supreme Court. This is the Supreme Court intervention. Governor is not a blocker. He is a processor. Process the bill to become act. Now UPSC asked dangerous traps. They give statements like this. Governor can keep bill pending forever. The answer is wrong. Then trap 2, like statement. Governor can reject a bill completely. This is also wrong. No absolute veto like president's pocket veto for governor. Another statement. Governor is bound in all cases. No, wrong. He has discretion in reservation of the bill. UPSC plays in the gray zone. Gray zone. These type of questions they may ask. These type of statement they may ask in the particular UPSC prelims examination. Now the most misunderstood part is governor can reserve bill for president when constitutional issues conflict with union law, high political sensitivity. Then governor can reserve bill for president. Reservation is not routine. It is a strategic escalation. Now connect everything, like legislature says pass the bill, governor says wait or reserve or return. This create constitutional friction between executive and legislature. So UPSC does not test articles here, it tests a conflict. Now the pattern of old UPSC questions, direct article questions. New UPSC questions are statement based traps. Let's say take example of the one question, that is statement 1, governor can return a bill. Governor can return a bill. Statement 2, governor is bound to approve if passed again. Statement number 3, governor can delay indefinitely. The answer is 1 and 2 only. Governor can return a bill, it is correct. Governor is bound to approve if passed again, this is also correct. But governor can delay indefinitely is wrong answer. Now we are going to exam hall strategy. Watch for always, forever, absolute power. These type of statements, when in the exam hall, you have to very much care, very much carefully. UPSC rarely gives absolute authority. Consider the following statements. Governor derives power under Article 200. Second statement, governor can return a bill only once. And third statement, governor can keep a bill pending indefinitely. The correct answer is 1 and 2 only. Governor derives power under Article 200. Governor can return a bill only once. This type of traps UPSC frequently using their examination. So this is not polity, this is not procedure, this is not administration. This is power negotiation inside the constitution. So because even after a bill is passed, power is not settled. After the governor assent only, bill became act. Bill will become act. So this is one system, but 2 to 3 questions guaranteed. So this is the execute versus legislature conflict. So we are moving to system number 4, that is constitutional protection, like basic structure, amendment limits, and judicial review, etc. will come under this constitutional protection system. So system number 1 gave power, representative power. System number 2 distributed elections. System number 3 created conflict. System number 4 decides the limits of power. Let me ask you something very clearly. Can Parliament do anything it wants? It can amend the constitution. Yes. But can it destroy the constitution? Absolutely no. Power exists, but power has limits. Now focus on Article 368 once of the Indian Constitution. What does it say actually? Parliament can amend constitution. The very important thing is it does not explicitly mention any limits. The constitution gives power to amend parliament, legislature, but does not define the boundary. Now think deeper. If parliament has unlimited power, it can remove democracy, it can remove elections, it can remove judiciary. The constitution become meaningless. So unlimited amendment power is equals to what? Constitutional destruction. constitutional destruction. So, but cannot destroy core features. Parliament can amend it, but cannot destroy core features. For example, federalism, judicial review, rule of law, free and fair elections, etc. This is the basic structure doctrine. Parliament can amend but cannot destroy core feature. This is basic structure doctrine. This is an invisible boundary. So now listen carefully. Basic structure is not written anywhere. It is not listed in constitution. It is not defined exhaustively. It is a judicial creation. It is a judicial creation through landmark cases. Now the foundation of basic structure is Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. What did it say actually? Parliament can amend constitution but cannot alter basic structure. This is the turning point for the constitution amendment. This judgment saved the constitution from unlimited power of parliament because constitutionally explicitly did not create boundaries. So now connect systems. Who decides violation? Judiciary. What is the article? Article 32 and Article 26. Article 32 for Supreme Court, Article 22, Article 226 for High Courts. Without judicial review, basic structure is meaningless. So this is actual judicial creation and judicial review. So now dangerous traps UPSC may ask. Statement type. Let's take one statement, that is basic structure is mentioned in the constitution. No, this is the wrong answer. Next statement, parliament has unlimited amendment power. No, this is wrong. Parliament has not unlimited power. Statement. Next statement, basic structure is fully defined. No, this is wrong answer. So UPSC tests what is not written in the constitution explicitly. Now deeper layer is all amendments are not same. There are three types of amendments, that is based on simple majority, special majority with the state's ratification. This is three types of amendment, particularly in the Article 368. So procedure varies, but basic structure limit remains constant with all amendment types. So UPSC will not ask what is basic structure, what is this, what is that. They will ask statement traps. Let me take one example. Statement number one, basic structure is judicial doctrine. Statement number two, it limits parliament. Statement number three, it is defined in constitution. So one and two is correct. Basic structure is not defined in the constitution. It is a judicial creation. So now going to exam hall thinking, whenever you see clearly mentioned, fully defined, unlimited power, eliminate. So UPSC loves partial truth. So let me take an one and final simulation question. That is, consider the following of these statements. Like Parliament statement number one, Parliament derives amendment power from Article 368. Statement number two, basic structure doctrine is part of Constitution. And statement number three, judicial review is part of basic structure. What are the correct options? Statements 1 and 3 only. Basic structure doctrine is not part of the constitution. It is a judicial creation. So 1 and 3 only. So please be careful regarding these options, statements. This is not law. This is not amendment. This is not procedure. This is protection of the constitution itself. That is judicial review. Because without limits, power destroy, power destroys the system. This is basic structure doctrine. So this system also get 2 to 3 questions. So you have to be careful with these systems. Now we are going to move system number 5, that is federal control. Means article 355 plus physical centralization plus hidden power. We move to this final system, system number 5. This system decides what how the center controls states even without removing them. Let me ask you something. Does this center does the center does the center need to dismiss a state government to control it? No. Control can happen without removal. Real power is silent control. Now focus on article 355. What does it say? It is the duty of the union to protect states against external aggression and internal disturbance. Very important, it is a duty, not direct rule. Article 355 is not takeover. It is not part of divisible pool, not shared with states, cess and surcharges. This is where real control exists. Now understand the trick. Finance Commission says 41% share to states. But in reality, effective share is between 30 to 32%. Why? Because center increases cess surcharge. On paper, states gain. In reality, center retains. So now the classical trap is all taxes collected by center are shared with states. Is right or wrong? Wrong. Because cess and surcharge are excluded. UPSC tests hidden exceptions. So in this time you have to carefully answer. Now connect everything. Article 355 is political control through finance commission, resource distribution, through GST, goods and service taxes. That is tax structure. Cess. What is cess? Hidden retention. Together, with all together, center influences states. UPSC does not test articles, it tests power networks. So UPSC will not ask what is Article 355. They will ask statement traps. Statement traps. Let's we take statement 1, Article 355 empowers the center to protect states. Statement number 2, cess is part of divisible pool. Statement number 3, surcharge is not shared with states. The correct answer is 1 and 3 only. So cess is part of divisible pool is not correct. Now exam hall logic is watch for all taxes always shared, fully distributed. UPSC loves partial truth traps. So with this you have to be careful. Consider the following statements. First one is Article 355 deals with protection of states. Statement number 2, Cess forms part of divisible pool. And 3, surcharge is retained by center. So 1 and 3 only option. This is not federalism. This is not taxation. This is not administration. This is control. Control without confrontation. But the real power is not always visible. The system also guaranteed 2 to 3 questions. So we are going to discuss final system, that is federal money power through finance commission, GST and fiscal control. This system is decides who gets money. Let me ask you something very clearly: who is more powerful, a government with seats or a government with money? The answer is money, because money controls welfare, infrastructure, development, elections, etc. In India, power flows through money. The real problem is India is a federal country. So between center and states both need money. But taxation power is not equal between them. Center collects more taxes, states spends more money. This imbalance creates dependency. So in this time, now we enter the most important body, that is Finance Commission under Article 280. What does it do? It recommends distribution of taxes between center and states and local bodies. These are the functions. It does not generate money, it redistributes power between the states and center and between states and local bodies. So it is a recommendatory body. UPSC repeatedly tests this concept. It is a recommendatory body. Recommendations only, not binding. Now we go deeper. There are two major types. One is tax devolution, share of central taxes to states based on a formula, and grants in aid. The second one is given under Article 275. These grants in aid are purpose specific. So UPSC mixes these two and trap you. So you have to careful with the tax devolution and the grants in aid between those two. So now listen carefully. Finance Commission uses criteria to redistribution. What are the criteria? One is population, second one is income distance, third one is area, and fourth one is forest cover. So please be careful. Population again becomes power here. So what is which population? 1971 or latest? Both used in different ways. UPSC loves this confusion. Now enter GST, goods and service taxes. What did GST do? Removed multiple taxes, created one national market, and introduced shared taxation. What is the structure of GST? CGST, center, SGST, state, IGST, interstate. GST is not a tax reform, it is a fiscal power restructuring. Fiscal power restructuring. Now, the most important institution is GST Council. What is the composition of GST Council? Union Finance Minister as chairperson, state finance ministers are members. What is the voting power? Center is 1 by 3 weight, states are 2 by 3 weight. Center cannot dominate alone, nor can states. This is the point here. Decisions require 3 by 4th of majority. 3 by 4th majority. This is going to be a classical MCQ trap. So now real conflict is states lost taxation power after GST. So center promised compensation for revenue losses. But what happened here is delays, disputes, borrowing issues. GST created cooperation and conflict simultaneously. So now connect everything. Finance Commission gives money. GST Council controls taxation. Together they decide what is called fiscal federalism. UPSC does not ask GST alone. It asks system interaction between Finance Commission and GST Council. And with both, that is fiscal federalism. Now we observe UPSC pattern. Old questions are like what is Finance Commission? But now new questions like statement based. Statement number 1. Finance Commission is a constitutional body. Statement 2. Its recommendations are binding. First statement is correct, second statement is wrong. Its recommendations are not binding. GST Council decisions are binding. This is statement number 1. Not strictly binding. They are recommendatory only. GST Council decisions are binding. No, they are recommendatory only. UPSC tests language precision. In the exam hall, if you watch binding, mandatory, final, you have to be careful. Most federal bodies are recommendatory. Absolute words in danger zone. Final trap question. Consider the following statements. Statement number 1. Finance Commission is a constitutional body. Statement number 2. GST Council decisions are binding. Statement number 3. Grants in aid are given under Articles 275. The correct answer is 1 and 3 only. Statement 2. GST Council decisions are not binding. This is not economy, this is not taxation, this is not governance. This is power flow through money. And UPSC does not test definitions, it tests who controls the flow. One system, 3 to 4 questions potential. This is. So you have to be very careful here. Now let me tell you something honestly. If you prepare polity as facts, you will forget. If you prepare polity as systems, you will eliminate. UPSC does not test polity, it tests power structures. Stop memorizing, stop chasing, start understanding. That is how ranks are made. These systems are going to be most important and most probable questions for UPSC Prelims 2026 as far as polity is concerned. So you have to understand the systems. Then only you can easily solve the questions. Please be very careful with these systems. I am Niranjan Ankilla and this is Metis IAS. Thank you.